Now let's talk about rare earths, the metals that power the modern world, the hidden ingredients in our phones, computers and missiles. Today, rare earths are the new front line of global competition. Every major economy is racing to secure them and build their own strategic stockpiles. And India is making its biggest move yet in this direction. New Delhi is preparing to make an announcement. It is planning a major expansion of its rare earth policy. The plan is to triple its spending on rare earth magnets. Today, the budget for this is $290 million. India wants to increase this budget to $788 million. So from 290 to 788 million, it's a threefold jump. That's how much India is willing to spend to stock up on rare earth magnets. And what are they? What are these magnets? Think of them as the tiny powerhouses behind modern technology. These magnets are incredibly strong, stronger than the regular magnets that you place on your fridge. Rare earth magnets do not hold things together, they make them move. These magnets turn electricity into motion and motion back into electricity. That is why they're used in motors and generators. In an electric car, they help the wheels spin. In a wind turbine, they help capture energy from the wind. In your phone, they power the tiny vibration motor and speakers. And that is why these rare earth magnets are so critical. Today, this sector is dominated by China, but India wants to build its own supply. The aim of this plan is threefold. One is building domestic capacity. Two, reducing dependence on Chinese imports. And three, securing a place in the global race for strategic minerals. The plan is waiting for a cabinet approval. The new funding will support about 5 companies. It will offer a mix of production-linked incentives or PLIs and capital subsidies. Let's break that down for you. What are PLIs and capital subsidies? PLIs are quite simple. The government pays companies for making more. The more they produce, the more they earn in incentives. It is a reward for manufacturing locally instead of importing. Think of it as a performance bonus, but for factories. So when they make more in India, they get paid in cash for every piece of product they produce. It helps attract investors and it builds local industry faster. That takes care of PLIs. What about capital subsidies? This is support for setting up the factory itself. The government pays a part of the upfront cost, like land, machinery or equipment. It lowers the risk for companies trying to start production. So in short, capital subsidies help you begin and production-linked incentives help you grow. Together, these are the tools that India is using to boost manufacturing of rare earths. Again, the goal is quite simple. Build rare earth capacity at home, reduce dependence on imports, and secure the metals that power modern life. Right now, China controls almost 90% of global rare earth processing. Beijing built this dominance over decades. It gives them enormous power. Power that China has not been shy of wielding. When Donald Trump slapped tariffs, China responded by throttling rare earth exports. Not just for the United States, but for all major economies across the world. And this move hit car makers and defense suppliers worldwide. Supply chains froze overnight. The world saw how vulnerable it had become. And that is what India wants to tackle. Earlier this year, Prime Minister Modi had issued a warning. He said, and I quote, "Critical minerals must never be weaponized." He called for stable and diversified supply chains. India's latest plan follows that call. India wants to be prepared for another supply shock. If China restricts exports again, India wants to be ready. Of course, it won't be easy. Domestic mining is still a costly affair. The technology is complex, it is hard to crack, and the process carries environmental risks. Rare earth deposits often contain radioactive material, which makes extraction expensive and risky. So subsidies will be needed. This is to make any production plan viable. So far, India's state-owned companies have taken the lead here. They have secured mining partnerships overseas. Building expertise will also take time. But these steps are all necessary. Just look at what happened last week. Donald Trump met Xi Jinping in South Korea and rare earths were high on the agenda. China has been cutting back on exports, so the US stepped in to strike a deal. Both sides agreed to a 1-year pause. China will ease its export curbs, and in return, the United States will lower some tariffs. Trump was quick to declare that the rare earth crisis is over.
But all of the rare earth has been settled.
But within days, the US and China are back at it again. US Treasury Secretary Stock Bessent has made a statement. He says China has cornered the market and has not always kept its promises. And with this, he also issued a warning, Scott Bessent. He said if China backtracks, the US could raise the tariffs again. Let me quote from what he said. We don't want to decouple, but we must de-risk. That is how Scott Bessent framed America's problem. And that's exactly what India is trying to address. It is de-risking for the future, reducing exposure to China and building its own foundation for critical minerals. Like I said, getting there will take time, but this new spending plan shows intent that India is ready to invest to reach that goal.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.